Hello everybody, it's Tommy and welcome back to another speed build for the Disney Save. Today we're going to be working on a restaurant commercial lot from Luca. This is really one of my favorite builds for Tartosa, I have to say. It is so unexpected that it would become like a personal fan favorite, but I love how this turned out. It's so colorful, it's very diverse in terms of what you're going to be able to do with it, and it is taken from the film. Now I'm going to try not to butcher this, and please do not make fun of me, but this is in the film called Latteria San Giorgio, and it is an ice cream shop, specifically gelato. And when you think of Italy, there are a couple of key foods that come to mind. One of them is definitely gelato. The other one, I think, pizza, pasta, that sort of thing. So not doing a restaurant in Tartosa, and specifically like not doing an Italian restaurant, didn't make any sense to me. I needed to have something like this here. One of my patrons came up with this idea to do the gelato shop, and I was so stuck on it immediately. Like, yes, we need to have that. I don't care what it costs. There are other things that could have gone into this world, but this was something that was so fun and I personally really wanted to see implemented. I love Italian food. My family is from Italy, so this is kind of my vibes. I had to do it, you guys. In the movie, this is located in the town center, and every time you see characters eating gelato from a cone, they're pretty much coming from this one little shop. It's right in the middle of town, and it is attached to some other commercial spaces, and above it there are clearly residentials. You can tell because there are characters leaning out of the windows doing laundry and that sort of thing. And I don't think it would be crazy or uncommon to say that a lot of these places are family-run businesses, that the shop is on the bottom floor and then the people who run the business likely live above the business. This is just like Julia's house, right? So we wanted to do, instead of like a cafe, which I think I could have easily done here and makes a lot of sense for Tartosa and also for Italian vibes, it would have made sense here. But the thing that I don't like about cafes is not being able to pick specifically what is served at the cafe. If you pick the cafe a lot type, they are going to have coffee, they're going to have little treats and things like that, but you don't get to pick individually what actually gets sold there. So if you want to be able to pick the menu and really detail how people are dressed and that sort of thing, you have to do a restaurant. So I like to do these restaurants where you do limited menus and it gives the vibe of like exactly what the space is supposed to be, instead of doing like general Italian food, and I could have definitely done that. I wanted this to be just gelato. So you come here and that's literally the only choice. It's just for gelato. However, when I was building, I ran into a couple of small issues. This lot is a little bit weird for this particular building. And when I start out today's video, this is a trust the process kind of thing. Like when you see this, you're going to be like, why is this building on the beach facing away from the water? Please just trust me on this. I wanted to make this fit here and I feel like I did accomplish that. So I fully decorate like the whole space, the back side of it. It really just feels like another piece of the village that happens to be extremely close to the water. And then I utilize that space right next to it to make it more of like a true beach area, which I do not have in the save. Like that's something that was very much missing from Sulani, is the umbrellas, the beach chairs, the picnic tables, like doing an actual beach. That was missing in Sulani, so this was a really cool opportunity to actually like implement that idea also right next to the building. So think of it as like a gelato shop down by the beach or down by the water. How ideal would that be? And since the store is shown in the film, I did have a building reference to go off of, so I know that it is attached to a couple of surrounding buildings, and I wanted to really recreate it for what it was. So I decided to do some of the surrounding buildings as well, and that meant that I kind of had to like take a peek at what was around and kind of assume what was also right next to this gelato shop. And it's clear to me that I believe like right to the left of it, there is either a pizza shop or a bread shop. So I decided to go with the pizza element. And to expand the idea of the menu a little bit more, we're gonna do a pizza shop as well. So the way this place actually works is there's only 3 things on the menu, and the menu will get shown at the end of the video. Whenever I do restaurants, I always show at the end picking the menu and doing the uniforms for the staff. It's only wine and gelato and pizza, and all of the seating is outdoors, which I think is one of the only reasons that it makes this place work, because it is essentially 2 different restaurants and they have to share a staff, they have to share a menu, but because the seating seating is all outside. You can't really tell where one person is supposed to sit where. And if you think about this in real life, if you pop into one of these places where you can just grab like a slice of pizza and you have to take it to go, you have to go outside with it, you would just go outside to like a picnic table or a bench nearby. Or if you have gelato and you go grab a cone real quick, you might even just like walk away from the store and walk around with it. So it doesn't really matter where anybody sits because everything is outside. There's definitely like a designated area that's more catered towards sitting for your gelato and an area that's more catered for the pizza. And it's themed like color wise and you can sort of tell where it's supposed to be. But generally speaking, it's public seating and it would get utilized both ways in real life. The staff, the chefs, are dressed in accordance to the pizza shop because I put the chef station in the pizza shop. So all of the staff that are dressed in like red and kind of more themed for the pizza vibes will be in that side of the building working. And then the hostess and waitressing staff are dressed in the same vibes as the gelato store with the pink and the blue going on, and their stations are in front of or inside of that shop. So you will have the characters that work here working inside like the same spaces and colors that they're supposed to be working at, but it is functionally one restaurant, if that makes sense. I think this idea only really works because it is that pop in, pop out, grab something really quick and leave kind of vibe. If you have to do the seating inside and the waiters are coming up and doing the full thing indoors, it doesn't necessarily work. And it's definitely not a perfect vibe either, but it is a really cool way to do two different restaurant types right next to one another on the same lot where we're not able to do so in a normal circumstance. And I was able to do pizza options here and make it like a little bit more options from Italy instead of doing just the gelato. The section on the far right of the build that is in front of that gray brick building, that is actually going to be the public restroom that you need for a restaurant space. So when you come to dine here, you really won't even have to go into certain spaces at all. And I think that's going to help make it feel really functional the way that I intend it to be. I have to mention in the gelato shop, which we're starting out with here first, I was so excited to do this space because it was the one that was always on my mind when creating this store. It was like the one we were going to do right off the bat. And I was in the debug catalog looking for ice cream signs. We have some larger ice cream signs and things, especially from high school years, I think, came with the boba shop lot type, and there are some ice cream things that go along with that, like little food trucks and things. So I did remember that there were something in the debug catalog that might work as like signage for an ice cream parlor. After scrolling through debug for a long time, I just couldn't find anything. So something that I do sometimes, and this is like a little trick, if you can't find things in debug, there are people who list like rooms full of things on the gallery. So you can just go on the gallery and type like debug rooms or debug, or if you're looking for something specific like boats, trees, you can sometimes find just rooms where people have collected a bunch of the same stuff together from debug, where it's kind of hard to find everything and like know that everything is there, and then just download the room and kind of take some of that stuff. And it's a really, really quick way to just find pieces that you might need. And I was looking on the gallery for like ice cream signs or signs in general, commercial signage, and somebody had made this little like DIY put together an ice cream case. So it comes with all these little pieces that you personally have to place yourself together to make little ice cream cases, but I thought it was so fun. I saw it and was like, this is the coolest idea. I still have to build it and like assemble it, but I have to use this. What it actually is a slightly sized up wand box from the Spellcaster kit, and then those little ice cream piles I think are yarn from Cottage Living. I don't know where the spoons are from, and I added in lights because I think when you go in a place like that, they always have like lights in there that you can like see right into it, and the pet bowls from the Cats and Dogs pack. And you can essentially assemble it into one of those little cases that are extremely iconic and exactly what you need for a place like this. You'd walk in and look down and be able to see what options and flavors are available and kind of what they look like. They also might have another one that's like personally off to the side that has additional flavors for like ice cream mixing and things like that. This is gelato, so it's meant to be a little bit more simple. Like you usually don't get a ton of toppings. It's usually whatever flavor it's meant to be, and you just get it in a bowl or on a cone and it's good to go. But there's still some some other like things and theming you can do with the leaning aspect of ice cream. And I say that, and I know that ice cream and gelato are not the same thing, so before anybody corrects me, I am well aware of that. For the menu that I picked here, I specifically only went with gelato options for the menu. There are no true ice cream options, and you're actually going to be surprised, because I know I was, at how many gelato options there are available. There's a ton. So I picked every single one that the catalog had available, and those are the only ones that get used here. But if this was an ice cream parlor, there might be some toppings available, some candy, some fresh fruit, some cream, things like that, and I couldn't resist the urge to use some of that as decor. Generally speaking, the high school years pack was really useful for in here because the boba tea shop lot type was added. It comes with some clutter items that go along with that I think can also be used as ice cream. So it really worked out. And I also put a window on the back side, so you have that full, like you can go in the shop and order, or there is like a back window on the other side towards the water. If you're in that like beachy area, there's a menu and you can come right up to the window and get gelato served on that side as well. So I'm really trying to utilize the full, all of the angles of the lot, instead of it being more like a traditional building where there is a front entrance and you go in and you're not really meant to see the backside of the building. Because this is plopped on the middle of a beach and essentially there would be people walking all the way around this little structure, you need to have a couple of windows where you could walk up and maybe order from different angles. And I also did that with the pizza shop. There is a window to the side in the general eating area where you could walk up and just order a slice, or you can actually go in through the front door. I ended up purchasing the Chef Home Hustle Kit to do this build. I've been waiting to buy this. I haven't purchased a lot of the new stuff packs, that being the Chef Home Hustle Kit and the Crystal Creations. They look really cool. There's really nothing stopping me from grabbing them. It's just that I'm always kind of waiting for a sale. Like if something is gonna go on sale and I don't need it immediately, I will always wait. And I didn't need this until I did this build. I didn't think I was going to need the Chef Home Hustle Kit for even a while to come. I'm kind of planning an Evergreen Harbor redo with certain locations and things because there's some characters that are going to be moving, and I knew I would need the theming of pizza, not to give too much away, for that redo. But once I decided to make this also be a pizza shop, I needed some of those items that come with that. It comes with a little pizza maker. You don't need it essentially to like run the restaurant that way. I don't even know if they're going to use it in the process of making pizza, but it comes with some clutter items that are like pizza toppings and a little cookbook that has a pizza on it, and I just needed it. It wasn't going to work any other way. It's like very specific to a theme for this store, so I had to pick it up. And I gotta say, I absolutely love it. I was so ecstatic with my purchase. It comes with a lot of little clutter food items as well, like some new spices and some new jars of snacks and candy, some new plates. So it's going to work out really well for like any kitchen build or anything like this that you might be doing. That being said, I don't own the Crystal Creations pack yet. I would like to pick that up as well. I'm hoping for a sale, but they have not put the Chef Home Hustle Kit on sale since it came out, and I was definitely expecting them to have done so by now. So I don't think they're going to in a lot of instances. Like they're really kind of keeping their new packs as high as possible for as long as possible. They even tend to put like expansion packs on sale before they do a stuff pack. They really don't want to like lose any of the monetary value of the stuff packs. So it doesn't seem like it was going to happen. I just decided to go ahead and snag it. I might have to get the Crystal Creations pack here soon. I don't need it right away. Like there's nothing coming up that I can think of where I would essentially need it, but there are some characters that could really use updating from that pack and would work really well as far as like furniture and clothing items and things. So it's definitely a pack I will be grabbing so I can update previous characters, but it's not immediately on my radar. Now I have to say with this pizza kitchen, it's very tentative if the final result that I show you in the video today is actually how it's going to look when I make it available for the public. I have to playtest this. I'm a little bit concerned that I haven't left enough space for everything that's going on in here. I really only needed the chef station to be like the functional item that works in here because the chefs are dressed as like the theming of the pizza place, but it has to have that other, like some other things going on. And I've been in little shops like this that sell like quick pizza, or not even quick pizza, but just like true Italian pizza. And it has a vibe, it has like a theming. So there were certain things that I really wanted to hit. That being said, there isn't a ton of space, and I know that that would be true to real life in a lot of circumstances, but it has to be functional. So I'm gonna have to play with it a little bit, no doubt. And there are items that you don't actually need for a restaurant that I'm kind of confused, like how do you not need them? I think honestly one of them is a refrigerator. refrigerator. I don't even think that's a needed item for the lot type. I could be wrong, but I do remember that there is an item. It's either like the kitchen sink or a trash can or a refrigerator. There's one like really key kitchen appliance that for some reason is not required for this space. And if it isn't the refrigerator, I forgot to put one in here. So I'm gonna have to redesign how this looks to get a full-size refrigerator to fit in here so that it can be functional. My thought is that they actually get like the ingredients themselves from the chef station, which is why you don't need the refrigerator. But whenever I build a restaurant, I always make sure that there is one. So it kind of threw me off that I wasn't able to fit one in there. And I immediately thought, well, oh, that's not going to be functional, but it might be. So I'll play test it and I'll figure it out. And regardless, it will generally look like this. I just might have to adjust it a little bit, of course, to make it functional. Now, like I mentioned, there is that little window that goes right above the chef station so that your Sims could theoretically come and grab like a quick slice from the window or a little pizza from the window and go and sit in the area right adjacent to it and sit and have some pizza outside. That's not going to be functional because that's not how restaurants work in The Sims, but that's okay. It still gives the vibes. A neat little trick I did for this shop that I thought was kind of funny is the pool floaty that I sized up and turned with tulle as signage for the outside of the store. I was trying to find any pizza items in the debug catalog, and if you just search pizza, there's only a couple of things that come up. One of them is a pizza box, and I wanted that out here as like little decor clutter, like just have maybe a couple of them stacked up. But when you place that item, it literally disappears immediately. I'm not sure what that is about. The only other item that popped up for me was that pool floaty that's shaped like a pizza slice, and I just thought if I could get tulle to work on it and I could turn it and put it flush with the wall, it would be the perfect sign to have out front. It's a little gimmicky, but it's okay. It gives the vibes. Like if you had this place in real life, it might be like true authentic Italian, and it might also be a little bit touristy, like town center, come and get pizza. They need like signage for those types of things that are crossing the barriers of language in the aspect of tourism. So I thought it was kind of funny. Some fresh herbs on the walls and things, some hanging garlic, little plants. It really gives the total appeal of this place, and I was so happy with how it turned out. The upstairs floors above this is one larger-ish apartment, and it's decorated very like colorful, and generally speaking could be for any type of Sims. It ends up being a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, but with 2 full-size beds. So you could technically have like 2 couples living there, or maybe a whole family and they're running these 2 shops underneath. It's not set up to be 2 separate apartments because there's only one entrance, and that is through the kitchen and through the set of stairs to the right of the downstairs bathroom. So it wouldn't really work if you tried to set this up as a rental residential. And so it's probably for like a larger family or 2 couples that are sharing a space, or people that just want bigger beds. It doesn't have to be a couple. I don't show that in today's video. Very similar to when I did Julia's home. It wasn't really a part of the build. It's just something to better utilize the space. And if you have this, when you download it off the gallery, if this doesn't translate, or the way that I'll be doing it in my save file, whenever I do community spaces that have extra space that is like general living quarters, I tend to lock the extra doors. I don't really want people who are coming to my pizza store to go upstairs and like try to take a nap in the upstairs bedroom. And Sims will do that. They gravitate towards certain objects in the game, or if they're tired, or if they need food, or if they just want something, they're gonna go towards the item that they need. So generally speaking, I tend to lock the doors. So I would lock that upstairs door above the stairs so that your Sims don't go up there and use anything. But when you download it with the save, that part will already be taken care of. A lot of times, and I'll say that this is more so in Europe based on my experience, like I don't really see this as much in the US, although I have seen it in like super touristy areas of the US. There will sometimes be signs out in front of a restaurant that give you the full menu of what you can expect inside. So I wanted to put some down in front of each of those, one of them being that little cookbook stand that comes from the Chef Home Hustle kit. It has pictures of pizza in it, and I just thought it made like the perfect little menu if they had like a little book open that shows, here's our menu, here's what we have, and it has like the pizza on it. So it gives you the idea of what they've got going on there. And then I've used one of the wedding pack signs in front of the gelato shop to give a similar vibe, but like here's the flavors that we have, so you don't don't always have to come in. And let me just say, personally speaking, I absolutely love when places do that. I am 10 times more likely to actually come in if I don't have to know what you have before I actually go through the door. There's nothing more embarrassing to me than like going in and realizing I'm not going to eat anything here, or this isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, and then having to turn around and walk out. I will avoid that at all costs. So if they have a menu out front and I can actually like stand there and read it for a second and decide what I'm going to eat before I even go in, I am 110% more likely to actually go in. So that's definitely something I personally enjoy. And then the rest of the build is really just about decorating the surrounding area, and like I said, utilizing the full surrounding of the building to try to make it fit really well on this beach area. And I was super excited about doing the space on the left and making it like a traditional beach with some tables and benches and towels and umbrellas. And I also wanted to use a newer item to me. It came with for rent as one of those early purchase items, which I try not to like buy into that system, but I really wanted this particular item. It's a little outdoor food stall that you can order some food. I think it kind of works like a grill. I haven't used it so far, so I've never play tested with the object. I really don't like The Sims doing that, like buy it by a certain date and you get these 3 extra items. It's really not great for me as somebody who creates a save file, because it essentially means that I have items in some of my builds that are not available, generally speaking, to the public. I don't like that in concept, and I think that makes it a little bit tough, but I try not to use them very much, and there are other things where some of them are like easily replaceable. For example, another one that came with for rent is a basket full of fruit, and I was so excited about that, especially in the future if I was to do like certain marketplaces from certain movies. I felt like having baskets of fruit was vital, but there are other objects that could be used in place of that, so I don't feel as bad using that item. This one's a little different because it is very specific and unique to that pack, but I just kind of like plopped it on the side near this pizza eating area, and if you don't have it, I believe it just won't show up, and it's not a huge deal. It's essentially like another grill, I think, so it'll just be a grill item, which I also placed a grill into the beach area, so it works out either way. You can kind of see what I was mentioning before, where I did designate an area that's a little bit more catered towards where you would sit and eat your pizza versus where you would sit and eat gelato. You can definitely request tables whenever you play, so if you want to have your Sims eating the correct food item at the correct space, you can always pick the table that you want when you approach a restaurant, if you didn't know that. But I don't think it's going to matter too much. It's all a community space, and generally speaking, if it's outdoor seating, people are going to sit wherever they please, so it's not a huge deal in my opinion. It's kind of a shame that the beach lot type was not extended to Tartosa. I think this lot in particular could have made a really great one, although it probably would have changed how I actually designed the Disney save if this lot ended up being a true water usage lot. But because beach lot types are exclusive to Sulani, I did make a beach there. It is the Mermaid Lagoon, and I wanted more. If I had a couple more lots in Sulani, I definitely would have done a more traditional beach, maybe something that was based after Lilo and Stitch, since that is a movie that shows like just beach vibes, just general picnicking and blankets and pillows and laying in the sun and just going to have a beach day. It has that aspect to it in the film, and it's something that I would have wanted to create for the save file. So being able to do that here really helps me feel like I've accomplished all the things that I wanted to do. I just wanted a small beach area, some towels and picnic blankets and coolers and things, maybe a radio to play some music, and you can swim in the water there. I've already had Luca and Alberto swimming around in it just to test everything, but generally speaking, all of the water areas that come with the newer worlds are usable water, so that's something that's really great about this world in particular. We're able to hit some themes that I was missing in Sulani, quite frankly. I tried to be careful about utilizing too many super modern looking items in this lot in particular. It's sort of unavoidable on certain things. Supposedly, Luca takes place in the 1960s, but when I was watching it originally, I just assumed it was the 2000s. I don't really know why I was thrown off by that, but that's what Disney Wiki claims, so I tried not to use like anything too crazy as far as really modern things. Now, I just want to mention with the menu really quick, because I know it's going to come up, and this was kind of throwing me through a loop. When I was picking the items, of course we have to do some wine. I went ahead ahead and did like all of the fake Sims wine options as the beverage choices and some water. And then essentially for like the appetizer section, I really wanted to just skip it and do a very small pizza menu for the main courses. Like not really do an appetizer, just do some pizza options. A lot of times when you try to go to like more authentic, especially for Italy, if you want something that I've been told, by the way, I've been told that if you want something truly authentic, it's usually better to go to a place that has like a very small menu, because they can obviously really hone their skills on what is available, and they usually perfect it. So there's not a lot of choices available. It's traditional. It's like very few options, but it's the best types are usually those places. However, I kind of wanted a few more options for the pizza than two, but a lot of what we have in the catalog is not really appropriate for like an authentic Italian experience. I believe we have 5 total pizza choices that you can use for restaurants, and some of them were just not what you would find in Italy at all. Like one of the options was a Canadian bacon, one of them was a kebab option, I believe. So I ended up just choosing cheese and pepperoni. And before, again, anybody yells at me, I know pepperoni is not like usually a true option for what you can find in Italy, but it is the only other option that I felt like was somewhat appropriate. You will sometimes see like a hot salami option or something like that, so it's the only other closest option we had available in my opinion. So there were only 2 choices, like a margarita or a cheese, and then I did go for the pepperoni. For the gelato options or the dessert section of the menu, I originally only chose gelato in bowls, but then it occurred to me that the characters in the film do walk around with cones. So I went back through later and added all of the matching cone options with the bowl option. So if you wanted to do more of like a walk around or standing and eating gelato versus an actual sit down for dessert, you can get either, and all of the options are there, bowl or cone. And again, to close out the video today, for the uniforms for the characters that work here, the chefs are dressed in a very, very traditional chef uniform with the hat and a red apron. It matches really well with the pizza shop where the chef station is. And then the hosts and the waitresses or waiters are matching. They're essentially wearing the same thing, and that is a Chef Home Hustle Kit full body outfit choice that matches so well with the pink and the blue vibes that I did for the gelato shop, because we essentially don't really need like a full functional host here, and even the idea of a waiter or waitress is not really the perfect vibes of what I've created here. I wanted to just dress them the same so it feels like the same person anyway, and it doesn't really matter or screw anything up. And all of their stations are in or right in front of the gelato shop, so you will have the characters that wear the correctly corresponding outfits in or around the correct store. And that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I have one more Luca video coming out with some townies, and then we're ready to move on to the final movie for Tartosa. I hope you guys are excited. If you'd like to support the Disney Save on Patreon, you can do so by clicking the link in my description box down below or the one at the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will talk to you all in the next one.